There's nothing that is in fact meaningless. There are just some things that seem to have less meaning. But by what I'm teaching people about the letters and numbers, you have to understand that the original source is light. And from that light, we create symbols and source recognition, which is now called literature. And in those literatures, we explain our thoughts out into the world with those symbols that we use. And by me explaining those symbols, I'm trying to express that I didn't get this knowing and this understanding by researching anything. I dissolved into the light, and then I saw how the light itself came into being. Trying to put this into words is utterly impossible because there were no words from the place that I recall. And I'm trying with everything I have in human form to express that to other people. And with their non-understanding of that original source, all they can do is compare it to their past recognitions and then try to put it together with what they've already known. And unfortunately, most people don't know source. There are many people who are trying to speak about it who actually don't know the original source. They know something that is deeper than their knowings before. And they try to relate that as in the be-all, end-all. And the thing is, nothing has ever ended. Nothing has never constantly been. Everything is just continuously changing, upgrading. And even the things that seem like they're deteriorating are actually upgrading in multiple other forms of energy. So when you try to take that into understanding and consideration, then maybe you'll be able to see that you yourself as a human being are just one stepping stool of your higher self, the oneness that is, learning how to act through conscious awareness. And when you think to yourself that it's okay to manipulate or attempt to manipulate others, because honestly, manipulation, even though I've said it many times that we're being manipulated, it doesn't mean that every person takes that manipulation and lets it run their lives in a different direction. Many times, that manipulation is something that people can obviously see. And of course, if they obviously see it as manipulation, which is hurting them, they realize that they can say no to it. But when you look around and see other people latching on and grasping onto that manipulation or into that manipulative term or action or whatever they put out, however it appears to seem, that form that has been manipulated in order to misconstrue people or misdirect people in a different direction, when you see that that's actually not something that's going to be beneficial for you, then you have to actually take it upon yourself to say no. Whether or not they're people you love, people you really value, and they think it's so important, realize that if you've already understood something beyond that level, you have no reason to dip lower into those frequencies of thought. What I mean by that is when someone tells you about ancient history and ancient past, you learning about it right now is a present moment thing. And as many have said, past, present, and future are exactly the same thing because you're recreating the past right now in the present every time you research it. So you do not need to know those things, no matter how many millions or billions of people have said you need to understand this. When it comes down to something that you should use as an understanding factor, it is the words that we speak, because those words turn into actions and thoughts. But the thought seems to come first, which in a way it does. But until you can find a way to express that thought through letters, words, actions, those kind of things, they don't seem real because you haven't been able to portray them to others. So the reason I will continue to speak and teach the word is because that is literally everything that people use to interact with each other and nature. Now, with nature, you don't have to go talk to a tree. You can feel those things. Those are intuitive things. We were able to speak with each other that way before, and we lost it Because what we call the fall of man was when people stopped seeing each other as one, M-A-N instead of M-O-N. They wanted to divide themselves into little individuals. And it's not necessarily the wanted to, but try to use these words and understand what I mean by it. We separate ourselves into individual units so that we can come back together as that one again and see how much we learned through those various expressions. Now, I'm going to leave it at that. I know I have a couple little stumbles in there because I'm trying to word it the best I can. And I'm not in that higher place right now. I'm always in a more higher place, but I'm not in that oversoul vibe. I'm not in that oversoul vibration because I'm here as a person being around people who seemingly require me to act a certain way through an ego. And since people aren't ready to accept someone who comes from oneness and proudly says it because they understand it, I have to use my body ego tool in order to portray this message to other people. So I hope you can understand where I'm coming from, because I do this out of love for you and for the I that we all share. Till next time, peace and God bless.